Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. Today I'm making a project which was inspired by a short video which I saw on Pinterest. Inside we have a pop-up piece which I've decorated as a present, and if I pull the ribbon bow back, the key comes out of the slot, the top lifts up, and we have here a space for a gift card. So I've used a gift card die. You could of course make a wallet or a mini envelope for your gift card, and then the key will slot back through to hold the lid in place. So let's put the project together. I'm going to put the pop-up into a shop bought 5x7" card blank. With the pop-up the size we're making it, it will also go into a 6x6 card blank if that's what you'd prefer or that's what you have. And I've started by covering the inside with a piece of pattern paper, and this measures 9 3/4 by 6 3/4. For the pop-up element you'll need two pieces. The first is 8 1/4 times 4 inches. So this is the width of A4 cardstock. You could use US letter. It will mean that you have a 1/2 inch glue tab at the end rather than the 1/4 inch here. And I've sized it so that it fits my gift card die and a standard size gift card. So along the long side, score at 1.5, 4, 5.5 and 8. And whilst I've got my scoreboard out for this piece, I'm going to have a 1 inch wide what will look like a ribbon strip on the top edge and the front of the box of the base. I'm just going to put some marks in to help me with the placement. So I'm going to fold over the 1/4 inch tab and mark at 1.5 and 2.5, and then fold up along the next score line and do the same, and then repeat for the bottom. So this is just going to help me when I put my decorative strip on, that I can get my strip vertically as it were and running parallel to the sides. So we'll put that piece to one side. For the top half of the present you'll have a piece which is 6 by 4, and along the 6 inch side score at 1 and 3.5. I'm going to fold under the 1 inch score line and mark this as I did with the base piece to indicate where my ribbon strip needs to sit. So we'll start with the base piece. For the next stage of preparation for the base, I'm going to add on my faux ribbon strip. So this is just some gold paper. This is 4 inches long, and I'm going to add it across the first section and the second section. So that's my first piece in place, and we can now fold and burnish along the score lines. I'm going to bring in the scoreboard again, and I've got the 1/4 inch tab, or you may have a 1/2 inch tab over on the right hand side, and I'm lining my ruler up with the 5 1/8 inch track on my scoreboard. Make sure your ruler is running vertically, and I'm going to make a pencil mark between 1 and 5/8 inch down to 2 and 3/8 inch. So this is the indicator for our slot for our closure. You can see our slot mark there. I'm now going to cut that with my craft knife, and I'm going to cut it as a slot rather than a slit, because I do need my closure key, as it were, to go through it. Now you can obviously change up the length of the slot if you so wish, depending on the look that you want for your closure once you see how the piece comes together. So you can see I've cut my slot, that's nice and wide. So now I've cut my slot, I'm going to put this to one side. We're now going to work on the lid piece. I've marked this up in the same way with the pencil marks to show where my faux ribbon look is going to go, and I'm going to add this 1 inch by 5 inch strip onto this piece in exactly the same way. That's my ribbon in place. Make sure you get rid of any pencil marks. and then fold and burnish along the score lines. Now I've got my top element prepared, I want to add in the markings for my slot. I've got the 1 inch section over on the left hand side. I'm going to line my ruler up with the 4 7/8 inch track on the scoreboard and make a pencil mark between 1 5/8 and 2 3/8, and then I'm going to cut my slot the same way as I did for the base piece. So the last thing we want to do before we stick this into the card base is make the actual key style element. So I'll go through the process I've used, and then you can change that up accordingly depending on what you decide to use. So I'm starting with a piece of cardstock which is 3/4 of an inch wide and it's 2 3/8 of an inch long, and I'm going to score at half, rotate and score at 3/4. Fold and burnish. Now, depending on the weight of cardstock you're using, you might find that you want to add 2 pieces together, but I'll show you the process and then you can decide. I've got 2 pieces which are 1 inch by 1 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to stick one on the front section like so, and then I'm going to stick another one over the top like so. This 3/4 inch section, you might want to shape that. You don't want to take anything off of the length as it were, but you might want to round off the corners. This is the piece which is going to go through the 2 slots to form the key. What I'm going to do now is take the base piece, so this is the one with the 1/2 inch or the 1/4 inch tab, and I'm going to adhere this piece that we've just cut using the 1/2 inch glue tab here. You can make sure it's in the right place by using the ribbon look to line the piece up. So this is going to sit over like so. So this piece is going to fold back. Okay, so once that's dry, we can start to put everything into the inside of the card base. So here's my card base. So I'm going to start by adding glue along this glue tab here and joining up this piece together. So we're creating our 4-sided pop-up. Make sure it's all aligned. Like so, I'm just fold that over and burnish that down. So this is the section which is going to have the gift card in it. So now our base piece is glued. I'm going to add glue to the back panel here and the base panel. Sit it up against the centre score line of the card blank. And obviously you want to make sure that this is nice and secure, so I'm going to use the construction glue. I'm just going to do mine by eye into the card blank. So I've got the bottom corner right up against the score line of the centre score line of the card, and I'm going to burnish this into place and then close the card and just burnish that down with my fingers, and then you can open that up and you can see the box pops up like so, and if you want to you can fold it back in the other direction, but that's fine, that will sit like so. So we're now ready to stick the lid into place, and first of all I want to just check that my slots are actually going to be in the right place, because if I need to I can trim this. So I'm just going to line up the base of the box with the base of my lid like so, and I can see that my slots are difficult to show you because of the glare, I'm afraid, but my slots are not quite aligned. So I'm going to lay the lid over until it's over the slot, which is there. So my slots are now aligned. My pencil is going through both slots and my cardstock is slightly too long. So I'm going to mark with a pencil where the 2 overlap, and I'm going to trim this front section, because sometimes we think we're cutting things in the right place and we're not. So I just want to show if things don't quite go right, which obviously this hasn't done so. I'm going to show you how you can rectify it rather than having to start all over again. So now, if I bring my piece around the right way, if I sit the front of the lid on the base of the card, my key is now going through both slots. So that's how you can just check everything before you stick everything into place. So this 1-inch tab here now butts up against the top of the base. So make sure your sides stay in place. Push the lid forward towards the inside of the card and just secure that into place like so. So this is lining up against the top of that box at the bottom. The key has run through to the inside like so, and so the lid is now in place. So we'll let that dry completely. Fold the piece forward. You should find that the box is sitting within the 5-inch width. You will have some bulk. You can see that's right up to the outer edge of the card. And if you've used a 6x6 card blank, you'll obviously have an inch gap here inside the card. So we let that dry, and then as we open, that will pop up. So I'm going to continue with the decoration. I'm also going to adhere something onto this piece here. So I'll get on with that and then I'll come back. Here's the finished project. You can see I've just added some pattern paper and a simple sentiment onto the front. But if we open the card, you can see the present pops up like so. I've added a little something and a what's inside. If you're not going to be there when the recipient opens it, obviously you might want to put a little something which says pull or an arrow or something. If you're going to be with the recipient, obviously you can tell them what to do. I've added a simple bow to the front of the key, so that pulls back down and then the lid will open, and I have my gift card space here on the top, and I may well decorate the inside as well. When I added the gold on, obviously I didn't need to add this length of the strip, so you could reduce the length of the gold so it just covers the front piece. I think I might end up shaping the key slightly, rounding the edge of those off. And of course, you don't need to have a bow. You could have absolutely anything on the front as your pull mechanism, as it were. The patterned paper, these pieces are all 1 3/8 of an inch wide, and these are 2 3/8, 2 3/8. These pieces at the front are 1 3/8 by 1 3/8, and then this rectangle on the top is 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. Overall, I'm really happy with how the project has come out, and it's a great alternative to give a gift card. So there we have today's project. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.